Hi everybody. So I am here today. My name is Kirsten. For those of you who don't know me, I am mostly do rock videos. Anything about rocks has to do with rocks, polishing, lapidary, anything like that. Right now we're watching a video of mine and it's just a bunch of pictures of rocks and stuff, but I don't have the sound on, so it won't distract us. But today's talk is going to be about photographing rocks. As you can see, I take a lot of pride in the job I do photographing, and it's because I follow 7 rules. And if you ever are on Facebook in Facebook groups and you're scrolling through and you see someone ask a question like, what is this rock? And all you can see is a really good image of their thumb and everything else in the picture is blurry. And of course the thumb has to be like a really gross nail with like all kinds of weird gross dirt underneath it, or you know, something icky like that. But today I will help everyone that has problems taking pictures of rocks, because I have kind of set up a little system here that I'm going to share with you of how I do my photographing. So the first thing you want to focus on is your background. So there's a lot of different things, but the most important rule about doing a background is you never want to use something like this, because it just takes away from the rock. You can't really see it. It doesn't pop. It doesn't make it stand out at all. You have something with crystal that's druzy, you know, on a shiny paper, it doesn't really pop. Now here is a good example of how to do it. So you would want to use a nice white plain base. These are all things that we have in our house. You can use a piece of paper that's white, so just like that. Now you can see that that has nice druze inside it. Another thing you can do is use an opposite color. I prefer using black and white, but you can use colors. Like the red of this towel will bring out the red of the rind of this dugway geode. Another good thing to use is tissue paper. An old envelope would work good, or say a basket. If you have your rocks in a basket, you just flip it over and put your rock on there. Okay, so that's the basics of background. Now if you have a light colored rock, you would want to put, like say for instance these crystals, you would want to put them on a dark background, because look at the difference. Look at how much they just popped out. Okay, so we'll use these crystals for now for our project here for photographing. Okay, so the next thing you want to think about is the foreground. Now the foreground is everything that is in front of the rock. So if you're holding a big rock like this, the foreground is your thumb, and it's going to focus in on your thumb and not the crystal behind it. Okay. And if you are going to take pictures with your fingernails in it, make sure your fingernails are clean. Nobody wants to see gross, nasty fingernails that have all kinds of weird, disgusting, gross goo underneath them. That's just one of my pet peeves. So another thing that you want to do is make sure that when you are coming in, you are coming in at a 45-degree angle, or directly above it. Okay, now sorry, do you see how that just makes those crystals stand out a lot more? Let's focus in on this one. We'll just do this single crystal. Okay, so you want to get it nice and tight. And if you get too close and it gets really blurry like this, all you have to do is back out until it comes into focus. Hold your camera very still. It's even better if you have a tripod to put it on, and then zoom in. Okay, just like that. Now, another thing that you can do is you want to have something you can use for size reference. So doing something like this, for instance, or if you have a penny, some people use a lighter. There's all kinds of different things that you can use. This is a cool tabby. These all got dug out of the ground just a couple days ago, fresh out of the dirt. So, love me my crystals. So the next thing I want to talk about is lighting. Now, it's important to use natural daylight if at all possible. If you don't have natural daylight lights, then something that you can do is get a full spectrum light. But I want to show you, see this in the natural light? You can see all the drues, you can see the crystals in there really nicely, and it doesn't make the item that you're taking a picture of turn yellow. Now if you, oh, here's a cool rock of mine. I love black lights. Black light photography is something totally different than what we're doing right now, but maybe I'll do another video down the road about that. So as long as it's a full spectrum light, natural daylight, and that, you know, if you get in really close on a shiny spot, you know, that green is reflecting from the TV. So you want to make sure that you're not reflecting back anything that is in the area, like your clothes. Always wear black clothes when taking photographs. Because if you wear like a bright pink shirt, it will reflect back in the crystals or in your slabs or whatever that is shiny, that is reflective. Okay, so that was a very interesting point. I'm glad that was brought up. Now when you're taking photographs of rocks, most people want to see them wet. They want to see what it's going to look like with like a raw, this has just been cut, it's not been polished. They want to see what it's going to look like wet, so you can get it wet and take a picture, but you always want to note that you took the picture of it wet. Okay, see the difference? What a difference a polish will make on this. You can see the waves of the formation of the geode itself and the rhyolite that's on the outside that encases the crystals. So that's another thing to remember. You don't have to get it soaking wet, but when you do get it wet, you're going to have, what we have here is this reflection. So if you were to take something and diffuse the light with like a piece of paper, you could use just one thin sheet of the tissue paper or a tote. You know, sometimes the totes have that opaque color. You could use that to kind of block just the direct bright light from reflecting back, so that you can actually get in and see the details and see the dots and the microscopic things that people want to see when they're looking at rocks, especially if you need help identifying rocks, because that seems to be where I've noticed the biggest problem is for people. Another thing that I like to do is I like to use the rule of thirds to explain this. I have a square here that I created, and so you want to cut it apart into 3 vertical and 3 horizontal sections. Okay, when you take photographs of rocks, you want to do 3 photos, 3 main photos. 1, a regular photo at a regular distance, so that would be this one. Okay. The second one you want to do is a close-up of any area that has any interest. Say it has crystals sticking out, or you know, it's got dendrites or some other reason, something that you want to really focus in on. And then the third one is a super close-up where you would go in, say the rock is right here, and you're going to go into this very center and focus all the way into the very center. Having your photos close enough so that you're getting to see what the rock is and what the rock is made of. It's kind of hard to do it on the video while I'm videotaping this, but so you can get in there and you can really see what you're working with. Like these crystals have some clay because of the skeletal type crystals that they are. When they formed, the clay got trapped inside of them. So maybe I want to take a picture that's going to show like this. So you could see, oh, look how good in focus that is right there. So if I were to take and zoom in, okay, so this would be a great close-up. But the one thing when you're doing close-up shots is you always want to have your camera setting down on something. Otherwise, it wiggles and it moves. And even the tiniest little move when you are trying to get something super close and super in focus, any tiny little bit of movement will make the photo blurry. And that is the one thing that we do not want. We do not want to ever see blurry photos of rocks. It drives me crazy. I love this quartz geode right here. It's a triple. So if you can get it into the light using the natural light and using the rule, I'll show you a close-up. Okay, so I got the natural light. I'm in a good focus spot right here. Whoa. And then zoomed in. Okay. Now you may have to back up and go forward a little bit until you figure out just the right perfect distance. But you see, I'm not coming on at it straight. I'm not directly over it. I am at a 45-degree angle. That angle is going to allow you the best crystal. You can even place, like this rock is placed at a 45 angle. So you're going to get the best focus and refraction of light at that distance. So this would be a good distance for a all over rock. Okay, this is if you're coming in to see something that stands out about the rock. And then this, can't do it with this camera, but you get the point. So the rule of thirds, remember 3, 3, 3, center, center, center. And it's really good to have it be centered so that when you post your pictures to Facebook, Facebook does square photos. So if it's centered in the center, it will always be in the center of the square. Really quick, this video is getting extra long, so I have 2 more things. You want to make sure that if your rock has a distinguishing trait, like this crystal matrix, that you get at least one really good shot at a nice 45-degree angle in natural light of that one spot, and add that. Whoa, what did I do? Sorry guys. And then add that. So the last thing is just have fun with it. Rocks are supposed to be fun. It's a hobby meant for fun, meant for enjoyment. I love rocks because I get to look at something that God created that nobody ever got to see. It's a treasure. Nobody else in this planet has seen this rock until just now. I cut it. I got to see what was in it first. It's my treasure. So I hope you guys get out there, take photographs of your rocks, share them with everybody, share them on all the Facebook groups, share them on YouTube. I really want to see rock hounding take off, especially with the newer generations. And as far as photographing goes, remember daylight, focus, don't have a crusty thumb. All right, that's all for now. Take care. Thanks everybody. Have a great day.